Welcome to this week's Behind the Poem. I've been thinking almost obsessively these past 8 months about assimilation, especially Jewish assimilation, especially white Jewish assimilation, because white Jewish assimilation is both internalized anti-Semitism and anti-Black racism. And I've been thinking about how, as part of the ways these things work in tandem, a byproduct of how this perpetuates both anti-Jewish oppression and anti-Jewish anti-Semitism is by furthering a mythology that all Jews are white, which is that, a myth. The Jewish diaspora is, and has always been, multiracial, multi-ethnic, and multicultural. And so I've been thinking about not only what assimilation looks like, but also what I then have to do to divest from assimilation, because the cost of whiteness is erasure of my ancestry, erasure of my ethnicity as an Ashkenazi Jew. And also participating in assimilation where I live in the United States means I am then participating in and further perpetuating anti-Black racism and anti-Indigenous racism, none of which I want to participate in. I wrote this poem, which is called Jewish Assimilation, almost 20 years ago when I was in college. I've tinkered with it and altered it and edited it over the years as both language has evolved and also my own understanding of the expansiveness of the Jewish diaspora has evolved as well. If I were to update the title today along with the text itself, I might even call it White Jewish Assimilation or White Ashkenazi Jewish Assimilation, since also not all Ashkenazi Jews are white. And even my whiteness is subject to change. 100 years ago, maybe even less, I wasn't white, but my great-grandparents and generations since assimilated, and so I became white. And still too, in the end of the day, for the ruling class in power where I live in the United States of America, I am still, in the end of the day, a Jew. And I am tired of assimilating. I am tired of perpetuating in a race. I am tired of participating. I am tired of perpetuating and participating in erasure, including my own. This poem also begins and ends with an excerpt of a song by Debbie Friedman called Lechi La. Lechi La, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi La, on this journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi La. Moses stands at Sinai holding faith in 2 tablets, and he tells us that we are free. We are free from Egyptian slavery. The angel of death passed over lamb's blood smeared on the thresholds of our doorsteps, and we are free. But our exodus, our redemption song is still being sung. It's just that no one wants to admit it. No one wants to admit that Jewish power and privilege are just a mirage. We're suppressing our ancestry and identity so much that we're still in captivity, masked by a guise to conform throughout history, my people. We are still not free. See, I've been blessed with birthing hips, voluptuous breasts, and a body frame untamed by Vogue or Cosmos, so perhaps the mass market purchasing of nose jobs at my synagogue was some sort of attempt to blend in, because we weren't always white. Despite 50 years of white privilege, there are white supremacists who live to rage a racial holy war to send me to my grave. I wasn't always white. That's just a minor mistake society made when my great-great-grandparents arrived at Ellis Island, where customs workers sewed their names with chefs, ma'ams, Roths, and Steins to bracket us off, just like yellow jackets and yellow stars in Europe. And while I wear my name with pride and joy, I question its origins as an anti-Semitic decoy. I question whether my name encompasses the scorn of ghettos when ancestors were herded like cattle, marching to Auschwitz carrying candlesticks, talit, and prayer books. Now several of our people march themselves away from our heritage, straighten our hair, wear Prada bags and Gucci shoes, propaganda of a cartoon Jew. There's a small, loud minority disrupting the reputation of the larger majority, plastering Jewish American princess nouns and adjectives into contemporary vocabulary, as if the tributaries of our hereditary genes weren't enough to separate us. My father had the shit kicked out of him in 1966 because he was the only Jew at his mostly white boarding school. So he started working at the local pizza shop and sold pizzas on campus to make the beating stop. He didn't highlight his hair, shave his nose, buy fancy clothes, and start giving gifts on Hanukkah, be just like Christmas. Why do we further dismantle the destroyed temple with commercial material, 3,000 years of persecution, and we're still assimilating to some dictating institution? We're still wandering in the desert praying manna from heaven will rain. Instead, fear and shame chain our wrists like clandestine candlesticks in 1492 when the Spanish Inquisition converted Sephardic Marrano Jews. It's as if we're creating our own ghettos on Wall Street and Hollywood, so that if they come for us in this century, we'll have slightly more luxury than in 1933. And if they come for me, I couldn't hide. I wouldn't hide, because I'm a part of a family that's an ingrained metaphysical part of me, Lechi La, and I shall make your name great, Lech Lecha, and all shall praise your name, Lechi La, to the place that I will show you, L'simchat chagim, Lechi La. Thank you all for tuning in today and always. And I'll leave you with this lingering question. Do you assimilate in any ways to anything at all? And if so, what steps do you need to take to divest from assimilation and the ways it may be causing harm to you and the world at large? Take care.